Master. Papa Sean has just been telling us that Namo, or should I say, Lady Lilia has gone on another of her jaunts about the city. Though it is not my place to question her grace's judgments, I do wish she had consulted me before running off on her own. Perhaps I'm overthinking it, but it's unlike her to keep guests waiting. If I may say so, sir, with blasphemies appearing throughout the island, it's a dangerous time to be going for a stroll. I suspect that may be the very reason she wishes to see for herself how the citizenry fare in these trying times. Even so, it's downright reckless. We'll find her, though. Alright, let's go look. Come now, we might be here on official business, but we're old friends, and as you may remember, I have a knack of tracking down errant sultanas. Some might say that knack is rather charitable. I should be glad for the assistance. Opportunity to learn of recent going-ons and all that too. Well then, there's no time for the present. If you're not with me on this case, it'll be over before you know it. Alright, well, are you sure we should not go contact Hildebrand? Because if you look for Hildebrand Vanderfield, Gentleman Inquisitory Extraordinaire, we're gonna be able to solve this mystery immediately, right? Or maybe not then? Okay, never mind. It's been some time since I last combed these streets. Very young that area. As a matter of fact, Papa Sean and I would compete to see which of us could find her first, as I recall most of the contests ended in my favor. Trick who you see is to look past the disguise and pay attention to the gestures, her mannerisms, the tiniest movements that might give her away. Come, I'll show you how it's done. Okay, oh, follow along, okay. Follow my lead. Probably RP lock then? What do you want? Okay, she's food. Fauna perusing. Alright. We're looking for Sultana. Did you see the Sultana anywhere? This is like hide and seek, isn't it? Just follow Ravon. These pots, perhaps? I don't think so. Never know where to be sold. Any clue? That's odd. I haven't tried her usual haunts, so unless she's hiding inside a barrel or something or going on cycle, she must be elsewhere. Gods, why did she choose now of all times to run off? What if she's been abducted? There's no need to assume the worst. I know, but it's hard not to worry. Where could she be? Something Papa Sean said caught my ear. That animal went on an excursion. Because of the emergency of the blasphemy of the beast, to better understand how her people are coping with this situation. So she's been driven to seek out the most desperate and destitute. Per lane, then. I'm gonna ask you to lead the way. I'll admit my ability to track missing persons may have dulled somewhat. Let's go. Per lane, where's that? Okay, heck are we going, though? Oh, there's Purlane. It should be over here somewhere. Probe on. I think we're on the right track. Somewhere here. No, Lady Illyria. Come on. What are you doing here? True, well, I'm glad to see you both. Our meeting is not yet due to commence for the several bells. What is the meaning of this? You're worried, and with a good reason. These are far too dangerous times to be roaming about alone, Your Grace. Some things never change, but I assure you, I'm quite capable of looking after myself in my own city, of all places. More importantly, I wish to observe the first hand all the people have been fearing of late. We'd better prepare to participate in our discussion later. I've finished, you will be comforted to hear. Imperial laws to escort you to more amenable surroundings. Would you care to ride on my shoulder? Certainly not. You have already attracted more than enough attention. Thank you all for making the journey here during these difficult times. It's a pleasure to probably make your acquaintance on behalf of the people of Erosa. Allow me to express my sincerest gratitude for your continued dedication to our cause. With respect, Your Grace, I'm just a soldier. Was a soldier. Still, I say, Commander Alden would not make such a distinction, and neither will I. You yet serve your people and have provided solace to many an amigo, most vulnerable. If I were to deal with this threat, you must forearm yourself with knowledge, I understand. You come bearing information regarding the blasphemy and its victims. We have indeed. Hence the need to locate families of Cranialupi members who have fled to Tanalan. There's no end to the struggles faced by all Amigan refugees. Those who once pledged allegiance to the Empire are no exceptions, but rest assured that irrespective of their past, all will be treated with an even hand. All will be afforded such aid as I am able to provide. Magnanimous as always, Your Grace. If I might be so bold of a question, what do you have in mind for those most at risk of undergoing the change? There is but one recourse. Eunice, an open dialogue. While some are born into manageable wealth, others suffer great hardships and oppression. Circumstances of our birth are beyond our control. Our fate subject to the whims of the gods, some would argue. I once thought myself a prisoner of my fate, a figurehead, helpless to watch on as I purple starved. A powerless puppet, for nothing more than to cast it all aside, to free us all. I failed for my naivety, and then was afforded a second chance. The world is unfair, truly, terribly so, and we have the power to push back against it, inequalities and injustices, if not overcome them on blessed occasions, to love our neighbors and share in life's bounties, to open our hearts and come together as one. True words were never spoken. But without the support of the people, such words are not but vain. Platitudes, thankfully my recent attempts to make inroads with the monetaries have met with some success. Despite all differing views on many subjects, we had strived to find a common ground. Common ground. We've been pouring all our efforts into aiding families of Cranalubi, and while it seemed to help to a degree, some have still succumbed and turned. Of course, they're not the only ones in danger. There are Megans everywhere, whether they decide the Empire, fought for their resistance, or were caught in the middle. They all suffered. They all need to wake up in the night. They all wake up in the night at times, haunted by memories of death and despair. We know what can happen if those feelings are left to fester. The legacy of the imperial occupation will not soon be forgotten. But rather, we seek to forget. Mayhap it is necessary to remember, to acknowledge and accept the truth of it, that they may properly mourn those that they have lost. Aye, of remembrance. I propose we hold a memorial ceremony for those who died during the war. Everyone, no matter who they were or what they did. Let them be loved, let them be hated, but above all, let them be remembered. And in the remembering of the dead, in their honor and their sin, we, the living of Alamigo, may yet find a sliver of common ground. It's a noble sentiment, bringing together people who have reason to distrust one another, and with inflamed intentions would be a recipe for disaster. And again, we can't keep ignoring the married in the room. We do nothing to address the situation. As long as we leave it to the individuals to decide whether or not to attend the ceremony, I think it's worth a try. Organizing an event of this scale will require a great deal of effort, so I offer my full support. Once you know what's needed, come to me and I'll put the plan into action. Only some will balk at the idea, which is perfectly understandable, so I'll be listening to their opinions as well. After all, we want it to be a ceremony that brings all the Megans together. I was wondering, Your Grace, if I might ask about your approach to while talking to the people, handing over. As you can tell, I'm no politician, so I'd be grateful for any advice you can share with me. Why, I would be delighted. As a matter of fact, I have a number of matters I wish to discuss with you. And on that note, I suggest you and I return to Alamigo. Vol will make a good impression, but he's outdone himself. Not only has he found a new avenue in life to explore, he's taking it with considerable aplomb. was a proposed memorial ceremony is bound to have its detractors. I have faith that many will come around, not all, but enough, I pray. For our part, we will stand ready for whatever may occur. I shall send word if there are any developments. There you are. Commander Allen has asked to convey the following information. Into reports of missing relatives of Crania Lupi, with the cooperation of several Griffins, we're currently searching for any clues as to their whereabouts. Thanks to you, you covered it. And the others, the general public has been willing to cooperate for investigation. Though many still harbor feelings of distress for the collaborators and their kin, they've grown receptive to our cause on the whole. Aaronville has been making steady progress in preparing the memorial ceremony. Plans to host a meeting between the various community leaders. Go over to find Aether. You could assist in delivering the invitations. You can spare the time. You should be able to find him in the Mercantile district. That's all for now. I have a few other matters to attend to, so if you'll excuse me, duty calls. Thanks for coming. It should come as no surprise that planning a memorial ceremony for a whole bloody nation would keep a man busy. But by Roglar, this is something else. The hardest part's been gathering information on those who died in the war, especially when it comes to skulls and other conscripts. They're the ones we need to treat the most carefully. If we don't acknowledge the crimes of our kin and annul their painful truth, then we do a disservice to their victims, living and dead. If we let people paint them as monsters who did monstrous things we believe we would never do, then we perpetrate a different but no less dangerous lie. As for preparing the event itself, I'll be holding a meeting with members of each of the settlements around Girabania. I've sent invitations to most of them already, but I was hoping you'd help me with the last two. There's moods known in the Peering Stones and Sarisha in Varianelia. I'll give you one of for each. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they refused, considering how the people suffered into the hands of the Skulls. But I hope we can remind them that deep down we're all just people trying to survive to protect our loved ones. We may have driven the Empire from our lands, but as long as we hold fast to the grudges born of their attempts to divide us and set us against one another, we'll never be free of their legacy of cruelty. With that in mind, I've included an account of my experiences with the Silver Griffins and the people I've met. Victims, collaborators, their friends, their family, men and women who lived through it all, survivors. And if they refuse to join the ceremony, at least you will know and hopefully understand our reasons for holding the event. Granted, I have not had much practice in writing important letters, but I think they'll get the message. You being the one to deliver them will make a world of a difference, I'm sure. Take care, won't you? It has been too long since we last spoke. What brings you to my village? True, I need not read this letter in full to know its contents. I understand our Ragenfried's volunteers are working to support families of those lost in the war, which few will deny it is a worthy cause, but to include the relatives of Crania Lupi. Skulls watched the Empire slay us in the Tazels, and they still turned their cloaks, fought for our oppressors, and you would have asked us to mourn the deaths of these curs alongside their victims. assume that you read the rest of the letter. To dismiss it out of hand would be discourteous, very well. As known, my tribe and my family, I know all too well the responsibility it brings. I do anything to protect them, anything. Loyalty, pride, conscience, river, soul, all are meaningless if I cannot ensure the safety of those I love. I suspect that some of these calls had been faced with the self-same choice. To see how their kin suffered, I cannot say I do not understand. Do I wish that I did not. Girls in order to be forgiven, they cannot be, but I and many other who are willing can offer prayers for these tortured souls. Men, they could have been. I accept the invitation, not on behalf of the Emtra, but as Rajan notes, though I will put the question to my people, that they may decide for themselves. Also, we are to make the acquaintance of the person who wrote this letter. He is not wont to turn a blind eye to the bitter truth. Painful though it is to confront, the meeting will be a perfect opportunity to take his measure. Oh, you mean Ironvold? Yeah. Although you're gonna realize he can't stand up though. Come to what we owe the pleasure of your visit. As I suspected. I have rumors that such a ceremony would take place. Though we have traveled far to make this invitation, I must decline. I cannot mourn the loss of the fallen if the Cranialupi are to be counted among them. Like the Kaliana chose to aid the Garlean oppressors, killing and bleeding for those who would pillage our lands, cowards and traitors all. Are we to assume that Kaliana, who died fighting the Empire, will be honored as well? So there's all the more reason for us to refuse. No one will see otherwise. I come only to present a letter and ask that you read it in full. Everyone understands and accepts that you might refuse. His only request was that you read his account and then decide. If you insist. No one was spared suffering in the occupation, not the resistance, not the collaborators, not the families of both, no one. That so many would die in shame and ignominy, having sold their souls only to lose everything, is a tragedy and a lesson. If they are forgotten, then the lesson of their folly is forgotten. For the sake of this land we call home, I will join you in remembrance and implore my people to do the same. In mourning, may we strengthen our ties with our neighbors as well, that together, facing our past, we can build a foundation for lasting peace and prosperity. It would be my honor to attend the proposed meeting, and I look forward to personally thanking your friend Ironvold for his dedication. I and my peers have much to learn from the example as he has set. Something about me. It's rare for me to get such glowing praise, especially from renowned leaders like Sarish and Ramun. Hopefully, though, you agreed to attend the meeting, and I've got you to thank for that. I imagine it's hard to turn down an invitation, but it's hand-delivered by the word of light herself. Before I get ahead of myself, though, I must remember that this is only the beginning. Bringing on everyone together is one thing, coming to an agreement on an extremely divisive issue is a different kettle. A fish entirely, as your grace was quick to point out. But as she's taught me, if our cause is just and our hearts are true, those of like mind will surely answer the call. And answer they have. While there are bound to be differences of opinion, sure, there's nothing we can't overcome if we put our minds to it. To that end, I was hoping you could join us, if you've the time to spare. There's still a few loose ends. Regenfried and I need to tie up beforehand, so we'll meet you in the palace as soon as we can. Here for the meeting, yes? Enter Royal Palace, yes. While we agree upon the importance of the ceremony, we recognize that the inclusion of the Cranialupi will be distressing for many. I too lost family at our hands, and I would never ask others to forgive and forget. But all their crimes, they were Alamegans just like us. None made the decision to side with Garlemald lightly. They had a choice and they chose to betray us. Who among us have not made difficult choices for kith and kin? Do not forget that for Dola chose to stand between us and a primal. What does that have to do with it? Brothers and sister, arguing will avail us not. The fate of Amigo rests on my shoulders and yours, on those of every woman, man, woman, child that's called these lands home. To uphold our honor, to strive for prosperity, to protect our loved ones. We all know the weight of these responsibilities. It was that self-same weight which drove many of our people to serve our oppressors, misguided as it was. And though they chose a different, unconscionable path, in the end we all wanted the same thing, to deliver our families from persecution, that they might live to see one more day, because another day in shame and self-hatred was still better than none at all. The regretful dead are survived by their despair. This despair which threatens to drag us all into an abyss from where there is no escape. Know that it surely will, if we welcome it in our hearts, out of disdains for those we cannot forgive. But we Alamegans will not be so easily defeated. We'll stand united and conquer this menace. Every Alamegan who fought and died did so in the hopes that one day we would be free. And we are free, we are free. By the blood of our fallen brothers and sisters, we are free. Free to lock away the pain and pretend it has no power over us, until it festers and take us in our beds. And free to lay it bare and lay it brief, to acknowledge and to mourn our people at their best and their worst. The past is ours to bear all of it, for ourselves and for future generations, so that they needn't suffer like we did. Let us make Alamigo a nation where no man is left behind, where he can make all the wrong choices and still be afforded a chance to make a right one. None better than any of us could hope. Would have my gratitude for your part of proceedings. But we both know who the real hero of the day was. It was all Aaronvold's idea. It was his words that finally won over the naysayers. And we have community leaders on our side. We should have a much easier time convincing the rest of the citizenry. So by no means our final objective, no matter what we say, some will refuse. It's my hope, however, that we will still serve to provide a measure of closure. The incident with Fordola and Alamigama, save for what I wish to thank her personally. Considering what happened last time, though, I have reservations. Available opportunity to present a former skull in a more positive light. On the other hand, I don't need to tell you how unpredictable she can be. And that's before taking her echo into consideration. That's a consideration for another day. Go and get your some rest, you've earned it. Something terrible has happened. It's Fordola, she's escaped. She was accompanying a squadron on a training exercise. One moment she was there, the next she was gone. Thinking much of the time, but she's been acting strangely ever since she went to meet that modern girl. You know the ones who want to thank her for saving the girl's life. When I told Colonel Alden about it, he went charging off to Aligana to ask them if they have an idea of where Fordola might be. I thought about going after him, but when I heard you were headed this way, I reckon it'd be better to send you in my stead. Godspeed. I wasn't expecting to see you here. You've heard what's happened then. As being to earn her trust, she's been given us a slip. As you may know, she wears a choker that is designed to do exactly that if its enchant is triggered. It's supposed to prevent her from escaping. If I were to give the order, she would be dead within moments. And she knows that. She took the risk anyway, so I have to believe she has a good reason. That's what we're looking into now. We're hoping Clairol and young Lily here could shed some light on the matter. Can I ask you about your conversation with Fordola, if we may? Yes, of course. I know she's the butcher, or was at least, but it didn't seem right to go without thanking her. That's why I requested the meeting to express my gratitude and my apologies. She was quiet at first, but just stood there as we spoke as if she weren't even listening. I mentioned the blasphemy, and she looked at Lily, and all of a sudden clutched her own head, and cried out in agony. The echo. You remember what you were thinking about at the time? A man, the one I saw in the city? What, who, did he have something to do with all those people panicking? I think he did. When I was waiting for you, I saw him. He was by himself. He looked poorly, so I asked if he was alright. He said yes. He had a nice smile. Got up and started walking, but then... he was shouting and screaming. I was so frightened I didn't want to talk about it, not even to Mom. We should say something sooner. I'm sorry, Papa. This is my fault for leaving you on your own. The man who turned into blasphemy at a wager. The girl saw him, which means Fordola has now seen him too. It was one other thing. When Fordola was having her funny turn, she said something. Charlie or Charlie. Yes, that was it. Ring any bells? Guess it does, but if it has anything to do with the skulls, the Silver Griffins should have some information about him. We'd best have a word with FFXIV then. You've both been very helpful. I would also like to thank you for being so kind for Lola. She may not have said it. Sure, it meant a lot to her. I have a couple more things I'd like to ask, so I'll catch up with you later. So yes, that name came up during our recent investigations. Whereabouts is currently unknown. He had an older brother named Ansfred, one of the Cranialupi, which would give him a connection to Fordola. Is there anyone who can tell us more about him? Most likely find him working the sleeping stones. If it happens, I was planning to bring him something to eat. I'll join you there shortly. We should have asked what he looks like. Okay, that's him over there. I hope we're not interrupting. No, of course not. It's good to see you, Raggedfried. We're the Bulbul Amigo and Champion of the Alliance. What brings you such an esteemed guest to our humble quarry? Please, my good fellow. We merely wish to ask you about your nephew. Charlotte, you found him. No luck yet then, huh? Is there anything else you can tell us more about his childhood, perhaps? Much, I'm afraid. Poor boy's life was written long before he had any say in the matter. Prince and I swore allegiance to Garland to secure ourselves our kindred citizenship. For all the good it did us, here living amongst our countrymen who treated us as pariahs. It's a toll on him and his brother, to be spat on as strangers by association. One thing led to another, and Ansfred, together with most of his friends, joined the Imperial Army. That's how it started, you know. The Cranialupi, Gaius' loyal little pups. Do you remember the names of these friends? But they had quite a reputation growing. There was Emmeline, Rolfdolf, an Anglo girl who'd grow up to become the butcher herself, Fordola. Charlie was part of the group too, yes, but from what we've heard, he chose not to become a soldier. He wouldn't have lasted a day in training. He knew that better than anyone, of course. Thought it helped him to feel any less guilty for turning his back on the others. He blamed himself for their deaths, for not stopping them when he had a chance, for not being strong enough to fight by their side. Maybe save them, maybe not, but he wasn't there. He wished he had been. Then one day he was gone. Wherever he is, I hope he's safe and well. So we thank you. The information you've shared should prove useful, and for you I brought some food. Why don't you call it a day and go and enjoy it with your family? Let him have the peace for now. Back to Alagana. So not only was his brother remembered as Gauls, but Charlotte himself was a childhood friend of Fordola. Told he refused to support Silver Griffin as well. He's been trying to make his own way for some time now. His brother and his friends died at Specula Imperatoris, save for Fordola. The gods only know how he felt about her after that. Or how Fordola felt about Charlotte after seeing Lene's memories of him, transforming into blasphemy. Brother of a man that she killed, and her child, a friend. She thinks she's responsible for this, that's why she ran to kill the beast. I thought I'd say this, but I'm worried about her. Everyone's a survivor, and an outcast herself, exactly the sort of person the Silver Griffins are trying to support. You've seen for yourself the sacrifice Jesus is willing to make. If you can learn to feel sympathy, maybe others get too. I think we have enough information for the time being. Let's return to the city and plan our next move. I assigned a few of my soldiers to assist the Silver Griffins in investigating Charlotte's background. With luck, we will find him quickly, and then we can prepare for what must come after. We're all but certain Charlotte's the one who transformed into blasphemy, and so there's not to be done but to put him out of his misery. As for Fordola and Nago and her troops and Charlotte tracking her, once they found her, they have my permission to lend whatever support they deem necessary. If it comes to it, I may ask you to join the search. Till such times, I ask you that you take this opportunity to rest. Goodness, you're here. Commander Alden needs to see you right away. Follow me. Keep it contained until we arrive, but do not engage if you can help it, understood? That was Nago. It has found Fordola, rather she has found them. Search party thank Pearl. She wants a word with you. This is urgent, so be quiet and listen. Blasphemy, my friend, is right in front of us. Trying now, and when he spotted me, he started heading towards the Specula Imperatoris. Notice, I need your help. He never wanted to hurt anyone. This thing has become is I can't leave him like this. I gotta stop him whatever it takes. I'm on my way. I owe you. Nago, can you hear me? I've got the blasphemy around. It's not on the move. Get ahead of it, but maintain distance. We need to. Fordola, what are you doing? Fordola? There's no time to waste. They need our help. Aether and Alagiri are not that far from Specula Imperatoris. If we let a blasphemy slip through our fingers, it doesn't bear thinking about. But Fordola is determined to slay it by her own hand. We can't allow her recklessness to put the lives of others in jeopardy. Time has come for action. Are you ready? What's gonna be a... oh, it's a level 90 duty, okay. stay strong. I wish there was another way. Finding the only thing any good at makes me wonder how I ended up with such a clever brother. Too clever for my own good. Maybe just the thought of going into battle about getting hurt, having to hurt other people. He's a bleeding heart, our Charlotte. Sooner befriend a fly than to shoot it away, much less kill it. I could kill if I wanted, I could. But you don't, and there's no shame in that. Leave the soldiering to us, Charlotte. We'll show Garleans that what we're capable of. Get the power and respect you deserve, and then things will change. The deal will. You'll see. We'll find a place for ourselves. You'll find yours soon enough. And I'll do everyone who's enlisting. Meet back here tomorrow. Dian, what good did I do? You gave everything they had to give, while I hid, like a rat, waiting for the storm to pass. You don't get to end it. You don't get to give up. I won't let you. You have a lifetime to make amends and atone. Become something more than you were. If you die here, you are everything to say, everything you believe. Is that what you want? She's not going anywhere. Arval, why are you here? There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I can't fight by your side, but I can still cheer you on. I've seen your past, Charlotte. How you were left behind while your friends rushed into battle. It's bloody hard, isn't it? You want to do something so desperately. You fire of your being, knowing that you should be able to, but you can't. You find another way to support them. Your way. You did that too, didn't you? You were there for them. Even if they didn't feel like it, you were Charlotte. As a friend of mine once said, not all heroes are forged in the fires of battle. The history of Amigo is written in blood. While we cannot change the past, we can change the future. And for that, we must all play our part, all of us. Just grant Charlotte the peace he deserves. As for in one day, we'll be together again, but not yet. You never hurt anyone, Charlotte. That's not who you are. Remembrance is the common soul of warriors were. Blasphemy, Charlotte.
Dishonor!
Oh, we got it. There we go. Thank you. I mean it. Been looking everywhere for you. Have you now? Put down the last remaining beast spawned by blasphemy. It's a pity we could do naught for those who turn, or that we were able to prevent further casualties, nothing short of a miracle. It's astonishing to look back at Charles' case. Though his existence spurred others to transform, he never attacked any settlements or travelers. Even when he underwent a change in the middle of a crowded street, those who were present escaped with minor injuries at worst. I think that deep down, his compassion is what kept the rage and blasphemy at bay. The only time he emerged from hiding was to journey to the place where his brother died. Alright, it's clear he still remains some semblance of his former self. Never victim of the Empire's terrible legacy, along with his friends, and so many others. Chrono Lupi wasn't the creation of the Imperials alone. Many of those youths sought a place with them because they were denied one with us. That's why the memorial ceremony is so important. It's our chance to face our past together, to give them in death what we couldn't in life. To not deny anyone a place in memory, even hurts or makes us feel ashamed. I'll be attending to, won't you? I haven't been ordered to, so I suppose not. In light of your legal service to Alamigo, I intend to have the conditions by which you are bound eased. Providing I'm able to obtain approval, you'll be granted a degree of freedom. At the very least, you should soon have no need for that choker. There'll be no objections from me. You've done well. If I didn't know better, I'd think you were smiling. Well, I for one couldn't be happier. Her efforts are being recognized. Gives me that much more motivation to continue my work with the Silver Griffins and bring the people of Alamigo closer together. Got to do my best to keep up this certain little lordling eye. I think we've done enough for the day. Time we get some rest. No problem, Robon. No matter what manner of disaster may befall us, your presence alone is enough to keep the flame of hope burning bright. Getting on a bit thick, aren't you? Both Nago and Randall said much the same thing. I must be getting soft in my old age. Or a better friend. Sure thing. goes it in El Amigo. But it kept you busy. Be sure to send the world of your exploit to Ulta. Wait till the stunner hears about this. Welcome, when the sap trap asked us to entertain a party of haunted guests. I was wondering who it might be. This is a little surprise to say the least. Heard all about Casal from our friend Grahatia. I understand there was nothing that could be done. I was heartened to hear. He meant us no harm. I cannot thank you enough for dispatching the beast. It was the smallest token of our thanks. Your food and drinks tonight are Mareed's treat. Speaking of which, what shall I start you off with? Hot mug of chai, please. As you wish, pray join your friends and I will bring you your drink. Back whenever did the rating. One from you, Greatel. It's just some quests. Our allies have sent military delegates. That's news to me. Mind sharing the details? Yeah, here we go.
So blasphemies now plague all the realm.
It will only get worse if what Father said is true, as it did in Amarot.
If that's our model, then shouldn't we expect the effects to grow more severe as it feeds off its own spread? As if people transforming into those monstrosities wasn't bad enough. If the flora and fauna, if the land itself turned against us.
No one would survive.
Here's your order, friend. May you find comfort in these dark times.
Where do we go from here? If there's one thing we've learned, fighting blindly and simply reacting to what comes will accomplish nothing. We must find a solution that addresses the fundamental cause. Before our strength is exhausted, before this crisis spirals out of control. Is there something, anything we've overlooked?
If there is an answer, Hydaelyn herself will have it. 'Twas she who bound Zodiac and forestalled the final days. Alas, we have heard naught from her since the Tower of Babel. Whether she cannot or will not speak, I can only speculate. Even the flower she gave us is no more. So advised the Watcher. But what could be the significance of that name? It is entirely unfamiliar to me.
to me as well. It meant something to the ancients, though. In our time.
Most surely. Yet I do not recall a single mention of it in the records of Anida.
Another dead end. And quite literally. It's not as if there are any ancients living we could go and ask.
Not alive as such, but not quite dead. Elidibus. I sealed him in the white auracite of the Crystal Tower back on the first. Contained within that reservoir of ether that maintains it, ether that is returned little by little to the sea, naught may remain of his soul. However, if part of it lingers, we might be able to speak with him there. I know we can no longer make that journey, but you, my friend, still can. Thank you, my friend. That would mean much to me.
If nothing else, should we learn the First is safe, we'll have that much more reason to keep fighting the good fight. That said, the odds are not in our favor, to say the least. Which is why we're fortunate to have Urianger up there on the moon, working hard to make all the necessary preparations for our departure, should it come to it.
And why we have nothing to lose by staying the course till the last instant.
Indeed. To the last, let us all do what we can. I will consult with Master Matoya and see if she knows of a way to reach Hydaelyn from the ethereal sea.
And I will visit the nation's leaders and attempt to ascertain how far the final days have progressed elsewhere.
Keep me abreast of your findings. I can seek out and slay the worst of the immediate threats, if only to slow the spread.
Unease, terror, despair. Try as we might to suppress them, these emotions will return to harry us time and time again. But when they do, remember this. Your friends and loved ones are out there somewhere, sharing in your struggle. You are not alone.
So ends the brief respite before the next revelation. Yes, so much left for you to see. Where beginning ends, and end begins.
Is there anything we forgot to mention? Are you arms and armor in good order? That should be good. Ivan first, give my regards to Reen. Tell her I miss her. Return to the Crystarium. Take this, my spirit vessel. Empty now, of course, but it should allow you to operate the tower system in the umbilicus. If even the smallest fragment of other assistance remains, it should be possible to locate it. Should you access Gentlest, please seek out Lena for assistance. Chances are she still stands watching the Ascensor Gate. Should anyone else ask after me, tell them I am living my life to the fullest. Must be on our productive ways. Coswell will siege better again. I hope so, Great Idea. I hope so. I hope everything works out perfectly. If it doesn't, I don't know what the heck am I gonna do. People in. For a job. I don't know. Should I stop it here? I guess I'll stop it here for today, and next time we're gonna return to the Crystarium. See you guys next time on Final Fantasy XIV.